What's going on?
In a world of spiritual influencers and public dawah figures, trust is currency, and with trust comes responsibility. But what happens when that trust is weaponized, twisted into manipulation, secrecy, and abandonment? Before I proceed, let me level with you. I do not want to be here speaking about these issues. I do not want to be the face of any online movement. I have nothing to gain, yet have everything to lose. But why? Why do I feel so compelled to speak up? Because someone has to speak up. Someone has to do the not so popular work, especially when all the leaders and organizations.
Will these tree stumps go away eventually, or do I have to build like a track over them to get rid of them? I don't like this.
That should be fighting for the rights of those transgressed within our community, they all remain silent. You know why? Because it doesn't help their brand. It doesn't bring in the hundreds and thousands, if not millions in donations. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to keep me and the others helping behind the scenes sincere in our efforts. Allahumma ameen. Behind Veils is not just a channel, it is a movement, a space for the unheard, the betrayed, and the silenced. And today, we bring forward one of the most troubling stories we've encountered, because the man at the center of it isn't just a figure in our ummah. He's a global personality who commands influence, wields scholarship, and yet, behind closed doors, denies a marriage he once entered. This is the case of Sister Aisha. Her real name is concealed for protection, her voice unshaken, her truth revealed. After months of conversations, evidence gathering, and consultation with scholars, we reached out to Mohammed Hijab, not to ambush, not to sensationalize, but to give him the opportunity to speak. Instead, we were met with deflections, threats, manipulation, and a disturbing refusal to acknowledge what multiple witnesses, texts, and even a sheikh confirmed, that a secret nikah did occur, and a woman was left in emotional and spiritual devastation. We were told it was all fabricated. We were told she was obsessed.
Not a
we were
secret
told,
nikah.
Produce evidence or
That's
leave
the
me alone.
worst.
But here's the thing. When a man of influence hides behind false oaths, auto-deleting messages, wears a mask to a hotel, and tells a woman, you accepted this, after promising her love, family, and care, this isn't just about a failed marriage. It's about abuse. It's about deception under the guise of Islam. It's about the power dynamics in the realm of spirituality. It's about betrayal from someone who called himself her teacher, her leader, her protector. This is not entertainment. This is not fitna.
Destiny, respectfully, I was at a comedy show 2 nights ago, and a crowd of several hundred cheered for calls to replace democracy with Muslim caliphate. That's not good, but half the United States of America right now wants to replace the U.S. democracy with a Trump aristocracy, or a monarchy. So I mean, like, what do you want me to say? I mean,
is the fallout of unchecked power in religious clothing. The sister sought help after what she deemed was a deceptive secret marriage, going to different shiyu. Yet no one wanted to step up and investigate Mohammed Hijab's actions. Everyone turned a blind eye. Sounds all too familiar, doesn't it? Subhanallah. She even met with Adi Dawa, who conducted a 1.5-hour interview with her under the condition that she doesn't mention the name, but focuses on the allegations and her experience. Despite agreeing to that, he later informed her that he will not be publishing the interview. Go figure. After all, Adi Dawa is buddies with Mohammed Hijab. Just prior to Ramadan, the sister filed for a case to be opened with the Islamic Council of Europe. Only time will tell if they are willing to investigate one of their peers. Here is Sister Aisha's voice, uninterrupted, unfiltered, and finally heard.
Finally.
I never thought that one day I'm going to have to come out publicly on social media and speak about something like this. People who work for Islam and to protect our religion have always been more than family to me. And Mohammed Hijab in specific, I had a lot of respect and trust in him because of how scholars are praising him worldwide, and obviously because of his position and his knowledge and all of that. I'm going to share this today not because I want to, but because I have to. And I take an oath in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that I'm only going to be sharing the truth. And my purpose is for the truth to prevail, and for justice to be served, and for there to be accountability, and that we don't give unconditional impunity to our elites, because this is not how our religion has been preserved. This is the story of my marriage to Mohammed Hijab, and how his actions that he claimed are permissible by Allah have completely destroyed my life. I'm coming from a religious family. My father is part of the da'wah himself, organized da'wah work. I was part of an organized da'wah group in my own country growing up since I was a teenager. This is the life that I wanted to have, and I just wanted to make sure that when I die, I'm going to die on the faith of Islam, and I'm going to try my best to spread it everywhere as much as I can.
Why are we watching this? Because Mohammed Hijab, I think, is like the largest of the... Do you call it apologetics when it's Islam, or is it only apologetics when it's like Christianity? But he's like the largest like online like Muslim debater guy. Like Sneako's talked to this guy a few times and everything.
Well, that's how we met. It was for da'wah work. That was
they call it da'wah? Okay.
Through an Islamic institute. Asked me a few questions about myself, if I was married. Told him I was going through a divorce. So he told me that he worked for an Islamic council at the time. He gave me his contact details and told me to contact him if I needed help, and to go forward to that council to try and reconcile the marriage. He was very respectful. He was trying to help me. He knew all the details about that case, and he was helping me throughout the whole process. Fast forward, he started giving me hints that he's interested in getting married to me. He spoke to me about himself, his family, his childhood, his preferences. He told me I am not like your ex-husband. Whatever you see on social media, don't worry, because I'm very good as a husband. My life was extremely hard, and he knew that, and I'm his neighbor. I couldn't understand why he was giving me all those hints every time, but he never took that step. Whenever I found a suitor that I started considering to introduce to my father, it was extremely hard for me to navigate that by myself. Mohammed Hijab used to come back again. This cycle continued a few times. At that stage, I didn't know if he was divorced or not. Until he asked for my hands. Formally, he told me, would you like him to consider me as a husband? He told me it's going to be polygyny. At that stage in my life, I wasn't ready for polygyny.
Polygyny? That's multiple wives. What?
When he proposed to me, he told me it's polygyny. I asked him to give me some time to pray istikhara. I wasn't sure. But when I thought about it, I thought he's a good man. I think from what I see and from how the scholars are praising him, he is going to be capable of taking care of a big family. He is qawwam, he is a guardian.
He's wealthy. Damn. Even in Islam, you're not safe from these gold diggers. I'm just kidding.
He is knowledgeable, he is religious, he is pious, and he is praiseworthy. Further to that, he was pushing the idea and reassuring me that I'm going to be very happy with him. He reassured me so many times and told me that I should never worry that he's not going to be keeping this family safe. He told me that he's ready and he's going to be taking care of everything. So there were so many things I took into consideration based on which I built my trust. Mohammed Hijab was trustworthy for me 100% for so many reasons. It's not only that he gave me his words and he's famous. I took time. I thought about it very deeply.
Are polygyny and polygamy the same thing? I think they're the same thing. Polygamy is multiple wives, I think. Polygyny is probably the same thing, I think.
I ticked boxes, a very long list of boxes. His mother, his care of his family, the fact he was able to keep his family together for a very long time.
People are saying, no, it's not the same thing. Well, I don't know.
With his kids, and he memorized the whole Quran. He's in the front line of the da'wah. He's praised. There is a testimony of hundreds of scholars around the world who are praising him. He was placed in a position of marriage counseling, divorce in the Islamic Council. There were so many things. It was not for me just like the emotional element of it, because he expressed his feelings to me. But I had feelings for him too. It was not just that. For me, it was a very big, rigorous process that I took, based on which, at that stage, whatever promise he would make, I would trust him. إن قالها فقد صدق. I'm excited. I am happy. I'm gonna have kids. And I was ready to have children. And we have the same ambition, the same lifestyle, the same priorities in life. All of a sudden, he stopped everything. He said, I think the best thing for me to do for you right now is that I wouldn't go ahead with this marriage. I was confused, especially after he opened up about his feelings. He spoke to my father. He's been pushing the idea forward. I had feelings for him too. I tried to get explanations from him, but he didn't give me any reply. So we stopped contact. It took me a very long time trying to recover, and we stopped contact completely.
Okay.
After like 8 months, he contacted me again. He apologized and said, I couldn't go ahead with the marriage last time because I had personal reasons. I am back, I am here now. Let's go ahead with this. I am ready. Don't worry, we're going to go ahead with this time. Let's just make things quick. And he was rushing up the process. Obviously, I told him you have to talk to my father again. And like, it was quite hard this time, especially that he told me he's not ready to make a big wedding back in my country. I told him that's okay. He said, I am not ready. I'm not able to go and meet your dad in person for personal reasons. And I trusted him. He said, let's do this over Zoom. It's actually halal. And you just have to convince your dad. But he told me I'm not ready to show my face. I was confused. I told him my dad is not going to agree to this. My father told him that my daughter and her child go together and they are a trust around your neck, an amana. I told him, don't worry, they're going to be in very safe hands. He promised that he's going to be meeting my family later. My dad gave me the permission to go ahead with the marriage. After we consummated the nikah.
Wait, what?
I told him that my daughter and her child go media.
No, I accidentally pushed one. God damn it.
Is now part of the work that we're. I couldn't understand why he was giving me all those hints every time. I ticked boxes very long. We have the same ambition, reasons. I am back. I am here now. Let's go ahead with this. I am ready. Don't worry. We're going to go ahead with this time. Let's just make things quick. And he was rushing up the process.
Wait, where were we?
Obviously, I told him you have to talk to my father again. And like, it was quite hard this time, especially that he told me he's not ready to make a big wedding back in my country. I told him that's okay. He said, I am not ready. I'm not able to go and meet your dad in person.
Wait, so in Islam, if you're trying to be a good Muslim and you just want to like bang a chick, you have to marry her and then bang her? What the fuck?
for personal reasons. And I trusted him. He said, let's do this over
Jesus.
Zoom. It's actually halal. And you just have to convince your dad. But he told me I'm not ready to show my face. I was confused. I told him my dad is not going to agree to this. My father told him that my daughter and her child go together and they are a trust around your neck, an amana. I told him, don't worry, they're going to be in very safe hands. He promised that he's going to be meeting my family later. My dad gave me the permission to go ahead with the marriage.
Isn't the same true in Christianity? Well, yeah, but I mean, I would also say the same for a Christian. Like, would you, if you just want to like hit, are you really just going to like marry somebody and then ditch after? I don't know if that's where the story's going. We'll see.
After we consummated the nikah, Mohammed Hijab kept on reassuring me, told me, look, I am here for this. There is nothing that could possibly make me act like those players or those men that are incapable or not going to preserve their families and so on. And he told me, regardless of what could possibly happen, I'm going to preserve this family. Gradually, the new rules
What's the TLDR of this audio? I don't know. I'm listening to it.
showed. He's not going to speak to my family ever because he's Islamically not obliged to, he said. It's not necessary. It's going to give us more freedom. And he worked on convincing me of that opinion, Islamic opinion. I actually didn't even have to let them know that we did go ahead with the marriage. In that way, we're going to have more freedom. Then he told me, look, let's just book a flight and go out of the country and just forget about that. Let's just have a good free life. And you're not going to have to explain yourself to anyone. Most of the marriages break because of the in-laws. Let's just not add more in-laws in the picture.
True,
After the nikah,
based.
Mohammed Hijab wanted a sex marriage. He wanted a hotel marriage. After the nikah, Mohammed Hijab wanted a sex marriage.
Sex marriage.
He wanted a hotel marriage. But it didn't stop there. There was more to come. He told me, listen, just act like a girlfriend. We're going to have like a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. Don't worry, it's halal. We're married now. He wasn't asking about my rent, my provision. He never asked about those and never offered to pay for them.
Oh.
Then he went on a trip, a da'wah trip. And he told me that he was not ready to argue about my family situation. He said, don't worry, just delay it. We're going to talk about it when I come back. So we carried on. We had like interactions like a husband and wife. And I was waiting for him to come back in order for him to talk to my family and get their blessings. And I told them, my father is going to ask me now if we did go ahead with the marriage. I have to give him a reply. He told me, just lie. Delay it. Tell him we didn't go ahead with it.
Base.
I was stuck.
Sorry, not
Because
base.
I can't talk to my father and tell him, well, the man I told you to blindly trust and sign a contract with him for marriage doesn't want to talk to you because he's Islamically not obliged to. Your sister is just going to be jealous of you. She's older. She's never been married before. You're going to get used to the situation. It's halal. There is nothing wrong with it. Why are you making things difficult? Don't worry. I'm going to try not to get you pregnant. This is a real relationship. I'm going to keep this like this for the rest of our life. I told him, are you going to change this for what you promised me at a later time? He said, no. This arrangement works the best for me, and I have no intention of changing it. As soon as he said that, I asked for divorce. He confirmed that he had no intention of paying the bills or the rent. He said, you didn't ask me for that when we were getting married. He said that he just wanted to have full discretion. Everything is up to him. He will never change the hotel ever. He will never speak to my family ever.
Damn.
He's not going to be paying for anything.
Damn.
And we're not going to have kids.
Damn.
Not going to be taking care of my daughter. Nothing. We're never going to have a home. Every
Damn.
word he uttered was trauma for me. Every single one of them harmed me, carved wounds inside my heart.
Yeah,
I was
where's the
sick.
vine booms?
I was sick. I was traumatized. I was shocked. I was not ready to hear that. I asked for divorce, and he gave it to me.
Oh.
And he was very angry. He said, why are you refusing something that is halal? This is misyar. Why are you not accepting it? He was very angry. He said, what am I going to tell my friends now? And I was confused. You have completely destroyed my life, my emotions, my mental health, my physical health, my social interactions. I broke. There is no one to take care of my daughter at all. I was completely broken. Many years of interactions, nice promises, speaking to my father and promising him many nice things, telling me that there is love in this and so on. And at the end, that's what I ended up with.
Rip.
After we argued a lot after our divorce, he told me, look, I can take you back if you want to accept what I asked from you. I said, obviously, I will never accept something like that. I couldn't even believe that he was asking me something like that at all. I was sick. After some time, again, during my iddah, he told me, okay, look, I'm going to fix up everything now. Going to involve your family and all those things that we agreed to. I couldn't trust him anymore. I contacted the sheikh and I was like, I really don't know what I have to do. I don't know whether or not to trust him anymore. In our final interaction, he was like, look, that arrangement of meeting in hotels is what I was looking for. And I thought you are the best suitor for that kind of marriage. It is halal. And that's the only arrangement that works for me. And I'm really sorry, but that's all I wanted. He called it sex marriage. He called it a boyfriend-girlfriend relationship.
Sex marriage.
All of
Hell
these things
yes.
were mentioned after he got married to me. After he dragged me emotionally for years, for him, I was giving up on so many real options for marriage. I wanted to have kids. I wanted to take care of myself. I needed guardianship, me and my daughter, because I can't play both roles. I was struggling a lot. This is the guy I got married to, and I thought, alhamdulillah, finally I am safe.
Alhamdulillah,
Mohammed Hijab was the
alhamdulillah.
only man in this country I could ever possibly trusted this much. He knew everything about my life, my ambition, my background, my family. He knew everything. He knew my father is a very old man. He knew that I would struggle a lot to find a suitable husband because there is no one to help me vet anybody. He reassured me a lot about all of these details. Told me you are in safe hands. I will take very good care of you, keep you safe. He told me I am not like those men who trash women the next day. He told me that he fights against feminism. After he married me, he wanted me to be independent. He told me if I take care of all the women around me and I deal with all their needs, I'm never going to be able to do anything for the da'wah. He didn't want to pay for the bills. He said you didn't ask for it during the nikah. He wanted me to play both the role of a man and a woman in my life. He used to fight the red pill movement. And now he was using their own statements with me. It's okay, you're going to get used to it, boyfriend-girlfriend relationship. I don't think that there is anyone who could ever possibly get to understand the degree of damage this whole thing has caused me. Mohammed Hijab for me was a representation of 23 years of da'wah. For me, he was a role model. He was a man of knowledge. He was someone I respected and I did put at a very high scale. I followed this exact same process that we normally use, based on which we get to trust men of religion who are sharing with us the Quran and Sunnah. When I realized I was going through an extremely horrible mental health crisis, I reached out to one of the shuyukh. I just wanted someone to help me understand what happened. My trauma did grow even bigger because Mohammed Hijab's reaction to that was crazy. He started threatening me as well, to silence me openly. He was like, listen, if you're going to expose with this, I can get away with it. I can say anything as an excuse.
Ooh.
And you're not going to get nothing from that.
Ooh.
No one is going to have pity on you.
Ooh.
Women will not. Men will not. I can give any excuse. I can tell them I was sexually not satisfied. In fact, I don't even have to give any excuse whatsoever. I gave you a mahr. There were 2 witnesses. That's it. Done. It was sealed. I'm safe. I never, ever imagined these kind of actions would come from him. Ever. Anyone, but not him.
God
So he
damn.
followed a list of Islamic rulings, as he claims. And nothing of what he did was actually haram. It's Islamically all right to give false promises to a woman you intend to get married to.
Is that
You're
true?
Islamically not obliged to fulfill those promises. You are not obliged Islamically to a woman you intend to get married to. You're Islamically not obliged to fulfill those promises. You are not obliged Islamically to speak to your in-laws. You don't even have to ask for their blessings after the nikah and congratulations. It's Islamically okay to live in a hotel. A husband can go to wherever he wants with his wife.
Hassan dropping some cinema right now? What? I'm learning about the base religion that is Islam. What do I care about this shit? Hold the line. It's not loading. What? Oh.
Oh, I went to the wrong... Oh my god, I'm so stupid.
Dog camera?
Look who it is. Look who it is. Face reveal.
What? I was baited. Fuck you.
He's not obliged to pay for anything. He's not obliged to provide because I didn't need provision. It's Islamically okay not to have kids. The Sahaba used to avoid having kids. It's Islamically okay to keep everything secret to preserve the marriage, even if you are to show up in the hotel separately and come out from it separately. The shuyukh I reached out to them made me even more traumatized. Some of them said, he is right. All of these things are halal, as long as the 4 pillars of nikah were met. You can't know
Sorry.
what his intention
Not
is.
funny. It's not funny. It's not
His
funny.
intention is actually very clear. This is a no-string marriage. He said that with the intention of divorce. He articulated that. He encouraged others to go for these options. He openly and proudly said there is nothing wrong with marriage with the intention of divorce. And through deception, because actually a man is not obliged to Islamically fulfill his promises. There were no actions taken. I asked for help. I wanted these things to be resolved between scholars. I asked for justice. I wanted there to be actions taken. I was harmed. I was harmed. My life was harmed. He completely destroyed me and he was proud of it. Our elites and people who are at the front of this work, they have to be held accountable. It's the silence of scholars and lack of accountability and complete scrutiny that creates monsters. I wanted to have a good life.
Wait, I don't understand. I'm not trying to shit on her or anything, but like, if she's saying that all of this is allowed in Islam, then like, why is she complaining? Isn't this like just part of it, I guess?
Life. I wanted to have a family. I wanted to be happy. You have completely destroyed my life and that of my daughter. All the ambition and emotions and dreams I had for religion, I wanted to be part of. Everything that I wanted in my life, that is completely destroyed because of you. I do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be the judge. I am never going to forgive you. Every breath of time.
She's saying he said it's allowed. Oh, is it not actually allowed? I don't know what the rules are. Oh, never mind. Oh, fuck. Oh, her claim is that he lied. Oh, never mind. I thought Islam was base and you could just mistreat the fuck out of women. But he was lying. Oh, okay.
I have gone through all these years because of you, in your falsehood, in your oppression, in your transgression. I do ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to pay me back for that. I will never forgive you. I would like you to bring forward your evidence, and I want to challenge you to mubahala. Your sin is not a sin that has to...
Oh my, what is that? Is that Islam for, do they have their own word for debate? She wants to debate him out of the divorce or whatever? Oh shit.
Be concealed. This is not something you did between you and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in hiding and you repented. This is not what you have done. This is something that you have doubled on. This is something you were proud of. This is something you spread. This is something you encouraged others to follow. This is something you continued with the McDonald's nikah. This is something you have articulated.
It's a curse from God, real. Who is telling the truth?
From our own religion. أقسم لك بالله يمينا يا محمد يا حجاب.
Jesus, she's like casting spells right now.
Wallahi, because I know that I'm talking about it is the truth.
Oh no.
So I'm calling you out to these two things. Number one, I'm calling you out for mubahala. Come out. Give me just that
This
mubahala.
poor lady. She just wanted to turn her inshallahs into humdallahs, and now she's going to be engaged in mubahala. Oh no.
That dua, give me just one dua and then disappear. If you are ready to do this, I would like to tell you something. I give you full permission to go ahead and file defamation case against me in the UK. 100%. You destroyed my life. I had da'wah projects. I was working with 10 sisters. I was doing my da'wah work. I was taking care of myself. I was ready to get married to a real man. Someone who's really going to be caring for me and my daughter. I wanted to have kids. I had ambition. I had emotions. I had love. I had trust. I had belief. You destroyed absolutely everything. You took away my health. You took away everything from me. And I'm going to tell you this.
That sounds like the fucking beginning of like a sick fucking track, except there's no beat dropping.
I am here. Come and face me. I am ready to come out for mubahala, and I am going to be ready to go to court with whatever you would like to accuse me of. If you would like to go ahead with that, wallahi.
Wallahi.
وأفسدت عليك آخرتك.
What you just heard is not fiction. It is not AI. It is the testimony of a real sister. It is the living trauma of a sister, a Muslimah, one whose story is backed by screenshots, messages, and even the testimony of a well-known sheikh. And yet, the man at the center of it, Mohammed Hijab, continues to speak from pulpits, to find it humorous, to perform marriages over WhatsApp and a McDonald's meal.
Okay, why is it that... Okay, hold on. This is bullshit. When Asian people come to the United States, okay, they name all their kids like John, J-O-N, or like Eric, or Emily, or it's like the most monosyllabic or dual syllabic, I guess. Emily, that's 3 letters. It's basic bitch names, okay? They do this because they're like, oh, well, nobody can pronounce our names, okay? And then when they bring the words over into English, okay, they like Americanize or Romanize or whatever the fuck, all the words, because like, oh, nobody can pronounce this. But when Muslims, when they bring all their shit over, they have all their own original pronunciations and shit. Like, this guy is talking about all this shit, and it sounds like he's giving, like, fucking lore to Skyrim or whatever. Why are they allowed to keep all of their cool pronunciations for everything, but everybody else always talks about how, like, oh, no, like, no one would be able to pronounce it correctly if we did it this way. That's bullshit. They pronounce everything in the original way. And it sounds like they have their own fucking, like I'm getting, like, a plot synopsis for Dune 3 or some shit. That's bullshit. If they can do it, Asians should have kept doing it, and we all should have kept doing it, okay?
As the mahr, and to promote ideologies that leave women like Aisha discarded and humiliated, left with a scar of betrayal. one that she will have to carry for the rest of her life.
I've gotten people married in 1 minute and 60 seconds because I was busy. Honestly, someone comes to the office and say, listen, I need to get married, this and that. I say, listen, I need to go to the toilet. So this is going to have to be a quick one. I tell you the truth. I've even gotten people married on WhatsApp. And now there's a difference of opinion on the matter. But I was driving and this guy called me and said, look, I'm going to commit haram. He goes, I've got 2 witnesses ready on this WhatsApp group. Can I add you and you do the thing? So I brought them in.
This is babe, so I can have casual sex? Can you go ahead and just fucking wed me to this chick real fast?
I said to the woman, I said to her, listen, this guy's probably going to leave you. I know this guy. And he's like, what are you doing? You're here to try and make things easy for me. I said, but it's not fair on the poor woman because we know that you're a pernicious man. You're a khabith. And I said, what's the matter? And the guy said, you don't want to hear this one. This is before McDonald's was on the boycott list. He goes, I'm going to give her a meal in McDonald's. I said, sister, don't do this. I said, at least have something. No, she said, I don't mind. I don't care. Whatever. It happened. And he did, in fact, divorce her, unfortunately. But I said, I told you so. And that was it.
Subhanallah. He describes the man as pernicious and khabith, or vile, yet still decides to marry off this girl to him. And he gets a hard laugh from all of this, knowing full well that a marriage of this nature will result in a destructive ending. In his own words, he says to the woman that this guy is probably going to leave you, and yet he still performs the nikah. What kind of ignorant monstrosity is this? Has he no shame in parading around and boasting about what is nothing?
Well, I mean, it sounds like, I mean, they all know what's going on. I mean, if they're all consenting parties, no. It kind of sounds like Muslims are like, okay, we're in the eternal cuck zone. We have this book, okay? We're not even allowed to translate to other languages because then it doesn't count as the divine fucking language of Islam anymore, some bullshit, okay? We have all these bullshit rules and hadiths that we argue about all the time. Jews, meanwhile, okay, will take the most insane readings of anything and they'll say, well, hey, listen, as long as it's not breaking the actual fucking rules themselves, like verbatim, then they're cool. So it sounds like Muslims are like, well, okay, Jews clearly kicked their ass in Middle Eastern shit. Maybe we should copy some of the shit that they do. And now the Muslim dudes are like, okay, well, it's not a crime to get to have a quick nikah, okay? And then I guess it's not a crime to get divorced in Islam. So as long as you can do these things, that's like an acceptable loophole to an acceptable loophole to casual sex. No? It seems like it works.
Nothing short of a disastrous drive-through.
The Quran can be read translated? Wait, is that true? I thought the Quran is only considered is only considered real in the original language because it. Am I making that up? Wait, what am I thinking of? Sounds Jewish? Is that a Jewish thing? There's translated versions, but they say they can have a translated version. Like, obviously, there are versions of it written in English, but I thought it's only meant to be understood or whatever, or like the original words that Muhammad wrote or whatever are only... Wait. Did he write it or did Allah write it? I forget it. Christian writers were divinely inspired, but I think that I think Muhammad wrote it, but it was supposed to be dictated directly from Allah or whatever, directly from God. Whereas Christian writers are described as being divinely inspired. I feel like these are basically the same thing, but I think they make a big deal of these being different. But I'm pretty sure the only real Quran is in the original Arabic, which is the language of God, and he dictated verbatim to Muhammad how to write it. But he didn't dictate translations at the time. That's my understanding. You're right, chat is retarded. Good. Okay. And I know that because I've been to Arabia, a.k.a. the West Bank, where I learned everything about Arabs.
Okay.
What was the original language of the Bible? I don't fucking remember. It was probably, I don't know, some combination of Hebrew, Greek, Roman, Arabic, some bullshit. Hebrew? Was it Hebrew? Wasn't it Hebrew and... I thought some early parts of it was, people said Aramaic. Belongs to the Northwest group of the Semitic language family. Okay. The New Testament was written in Greek?
January 28th, you proudly broadcast to the world that you completed a bachelor's degree in Arabic and Islamic Studies from Al-Azhar University after 4 years and 80 exams. But here's the real question, Hijab. Is this what...
Wait, when did Arab as a language, when did that become a thing? When was Arabic language invented? Pre-BC? John Arab invented it in 200 AD. Damn. I have no idea. Okay, well... Muhammad couldn't read or write, and his wife wrote it. Damn, the 9-year-old?
What they taught you in family law, that secret marriages without proper rights, witnesses, or dignity are acceptable, that you can twist sacred rulings into self-serving loopholes, Did Al-Azhar really train you to weaponize the deen like this, all at the expense of his sister? If this is your personal opinion, who gave you the authority to issue fatwa? And if you're suggesting that this is Al-Azhar's official stance, then that's not just misleading, it is flat out dangerous. Because if it is not their stance, then shame on you. Shame on you for dragging a trusted, sacred tradition through the mud just to justify your actions. You don't get to wear Al-Azhar as a badge and use it as a shield when it suits you, and then toss its integrity aside when it doesn't. Whichever way you try and frame it, this is disgraceful. Subhanallah. Is this what we have reduced our standards to? To praise and platform orators and speakers who fuel an industry of religious entertainment, sensational stories, and have no reservations or reflections on the harm and misguidance that results from such? Allah musta'an. After speaking with Sister Aisha for months, we reached out to Mohammed Hijab. After all, he should have the opportunity to defend himself and to respond to the allegations. When we brought the case to him, he didn't simply deny it. He quickly attacked. Rather than clarifying the situation or addressing the evidence respectfully, he immediately redirected attention to my own past, accusing me of possibly wronging my ex-wife, Dunya Shuaib, and claiming that I should be questioned instead. And then he quickly reached out to Adi Dawa and had him take down a reaction video he had made about my own case against Dunya, which was just another strike against the lack of integrity with Adi Dawa. This was clear retaliation, another attempt to silence me. Instead of dialogue, instead of simply denying any such allegations or elaborating on it with his side of the story, I received veiled threats, legal intimidation, and accusations of ulterior motives. At every turn, rather than owning up to his actions, Hijab deployed tactics of diversion, intimidation, and defamation. Number 1. Despite mounting evidences, screenshots, testimonies, and even a well-respected sheikh confirming that the nikah took place, Hijab outright denied everything. He took an oath and stated, "Wallahi, I deny the entire thing."
I'm so sorry.
But offered
It's not
no
funny.
real counter evidence. Number 2. When Hijab acted as if he had no idea with regards to what and who we were talking about, the sister shared the proximity and location, having lived directly in front of Hijab's mother's home. Upon forwarding her messages to him, he immediately twisted it into another threat. He said, quote, "Anyone comes near her, I will have to neutralize them. I'll give everyone a scandal to talk about." This wasn't defense, it was a calculated intimidation tactic, an attempt to reframe himself as the victim and shut down further questioning. Number 3, instead of addressing the sister's claims, he targeted me, the messenger. He said maybe I, the advocate helping her, was the one who abused my ex-wife, Dunya. He even suggested hiring paid actors to fake stories, a chilling way to distract, deflect, and discredit the validity of the allegations. Number 4, Hijab's representative...
Wait, those are some crazy DMs. Uh-oh, that sounds like shit's dying. Chill. Perhaps Dunya was oppressed by yourself. Perhaps a paid actor could be paid to be a sheikh, and a sister to be your ex-wife, and tomorrow there'll be a scandal involving yourself. Ooh.
Way to distract, deflect, and discredit the validity of the allegations.
Damn.
Number 4, Hijab's representative, Isam, threatened legal action, demanding credentials, and calling us, quote, amateur journalists sprinkled with an Islamic flavor. Hijab warned that if the sister went public, he would release a, quote, shocking archive of her communications, a move clearly meant to silence her through shame. And
Revenge.
Number 5, in the end, Hijab...
I'm sure there's a Muslim word for it. We need to learn all the Muslim words. They got cool words, okay? Alhamdulillah. Wallabi.
wrote,
I'm sorry.
Expose me, but remember,
just kidding.
The recompense of an evil deed is an evil like it. He invoked Quran and Hadith to mask a threat, promising retaliation if she spoke out. We confronted him. He denied it. We showed him the text. He claimed they were fabricated. We asked for honesty. He responded with threats, accusations, and efforts to intimidate. But this is not just about one man.
What's
it's
it about?
The standard we, as an ummah, hold for those we trust with our souls and with our akhirah. And to you, Muhammad Hijab, you are not the only voice in this ummah, and we will not be silenced. Your threats, your intimidation tactics, and your relentless pursuit of pushing a false narrative riddled with lies and deflection, it will not be tolerated.
Oof.
Come at me, bro. I have a lot more to say and a lot more to share.
Come at me, bro, he says.
Clear. This case is about you. Spare us the usual deflection and diversion tactics to take the spotlight off of the allegations brought forth against you. Also, as you indicated that maybe I'm the one who committed dhulm against Dunya, please do offer your services to her and bring forth the case to the entire public. But do not conflate the two. Your case is about you, not about me. You're the one preaching religiosity, not me. Attacking the messenger and the one representing the case on behalf of the sister is from the first chapter of How to Squeeze Yourself Out of Accountability. And as the sister mentioned, she challenges you to do mubahida. And if you truly want to double down on your claims and the oath you took, that there was no secret marriage, that this was just a woman who was desperate and became upset when you apparently rejected her, well, why not call upon leaders and the Islamic Council of Europe to investigate these so-called false claims? But there's one more thing I want to highlight. The sheikh that knew about your secret nikah with this sister and tried...
Fascinating. Since we're going over this Muslim drama, I actually wanted to ask you for some advice. If I accidentally break my wudu while I'm still in salah, like inshallah, if I accidentally break my wudu while I'm still in salah, what should I do? Well, you're going to have to go ahead and break off the salah and you're gonna have to repeat your wudu again. Unfortunately, you're not allowed to do that. You should just go and do wudu. I'm just reading what I googled. I'm so sorry. If you break your wudu during the prayer by passing wind or otherwise, you should go and do wudu, then come back and start the prayer from the beginning. Is wudu pooping or something, or farting, or? Destiny, thanks for always streaming and making content. Your content personally helped several full MAGA, complete Trump supporting people I know calm down and actually reconsider their views. Wow, it's washing yourself. Oh, gotcha. Boom, boom, boom.
Tried to help during the fallout between the two of you? Someone who was also involved in conducting your previous secret nikah with another sister? We are fully aware of the threats you issued against him and the ultimatum you gave him to retract everything he discussed with me and essentially compelling him to silence. And because of your sick intimidation and bullying tactics, he ended up in the hospital the very next day. Weak and vomiting. He didn't want to be involved with any of this, but he held himself to a standard that one day I hope you and other leaders can learn to emulate. Speaking the truth. And so, after all of this, what did he do wrong? That's the question many people will cast. Isn't he allowed to marry and divorce whoever he wants? Sure, within the bounds of Sharia, a man has rights. But rights without process are a formula for abuse. In this case, Mohammed Hijab didn't just...
What is this?
Please tell me, I don't think, I think there's bil ijma, meaning there's consensus that none of you guys are okay with your husbands getting a second wife. Can I just quickly get that out of the way? Sister Swad.
Absolutely not.
You're not okay with it? Yeah. Sister.
It's a no from me. And if you have anything to say it now.
She's threatening you're finished. Yeah. Sister Amira?
Yeah, no.
No? Sister Tyra?
And I won't be happy with it.
Okay, she won't be happy with it. Okay, now listen.
I like that response.
Now listen. Yeah, I love listening. Now listen to us brothers, yeah? Okay, starting from Dawood, yeah? Would you say you are polygamous by nature?
Hey, we had this conversation before.
Can we have you on the mic, please?
And I disagree with...
No, I'm just asking a simple question. Let's not go into the nitty-gritty. All I'm saying is...
I'm not going to say I'm polygamous by nature. I'll say that...
Bro. Let me answer the question again,
Yeah.
If your wife was totally okay with it, zero problems, you come back home and she's cooking a meal, bruv. You just got married.
Yeah.
Would you get a second wife?
Yeah.
Okay. No, we're going to miss the brother because we don't want to... look, okay, put it like this, yeah? We're just saying this within our nature. Yeah?
Just be careful, Saj. Be
just
careful.
jokes aside, yeah?
Blame Jamil.
If you die, we loved you, yeah? It was for the cause, yeah? Okay, brothers. Okay, what I'm just saying is that as a man, would you not say you are polygamous by nature? It doesn't mean you have to act upon it, but would you not say that every man is polygamous by nature? That if their wives were totally okay with it, no consequences, that they would do it?
I don't think I would.
No,
but I don't know, because the thing
making
is,
him look bad.
I work on the doors.
Guys, 1 second.
Well, the thing is, I work on the doors.
Because there's conflict of interest here as well.
Yeah. I work on the doors. Let's say I work on the doors.
Okay.
The thing is, I work on the doors. There's so many women out there, but the thing is, it doesn't do nothing for me.
No, we know that. Look, I have no doubt about that. What I'm saying is the following, Aki, yeah? The reason I'm saying this, yeah, and we need to be brutally honest, yeah? The reason I'm saying this, you know why? Because sisters are under the impression that there is a man out there that is not polygamous. I believe.
But that's true. That's delusional. Anyone that thinks that is delusional.
Okay,
no, it is true. Not every man is polygamous.
One second.
They're having their own red pill
If they
arc.
put a lie detector test right now, this second. No, 1 second. You know why? And they listen. If they put me, Hijab, Brother Sataj, they would on lie detector test. And they said the following questions. Do you love your wife? Yes. Pass. Would you die for her? Yes. Pass. If your wife was okay, would you get a second wife? Yes. Pass. There is not a conflict between a man loving his wife and a man...
I know they'd have like a religious escape for it, but then I feel like what would they say if the women were like, okay, cool, well, can we just get second husbands? Because obviously they would lose their shit, right?
Wanting to be polygamous.
I agree.
And this is very important. If we're going to, and I'm not saying, I hear you out here, but what I'm saying is...
I wonder if that ever comes up.
No, listen, let's pass you, okay? Let's pass you because we're here to...
Another husband. Second husband. Second man. I don't know. Would have been good memes.
Marry and divorce a woman. He became the groom, chose his own witnesses, appointed a friend as the sister's wali.
Oh my God, why did I do this?
Event
I'm so
behind
stupid.
a veil of secrecy and intimidation, all over Zoom. No names, no faces. He hijacked the entire marriage process. Judge, jury, and executioner. This wasn't Islamic. This was manipulation masked in religious garb. We don't know if the marriage was valid or if it was simply sanctified by fake formalities, because the witnesses, handpicked by Hijab, are too afraid and unwilling to testify.
Never mind, fuck
Then
this.
what really is the purpose of having witnesses? She never received her marital rights.
Ooh,
no home,
true.
no support, no companionship. Just 2 hotel sessions, newly instated conditions that there would be no family.
Hotel sessions. What does that mean? They just went to meet someplace to bang and say that, okay, now our marriage is real? They're consummating their marriage with a hotel bang? Damn.
Communication, and that the marriage would be confined to exclusively meeting at hotels.
Damn.
And upon refusal to such ludicrous conditions, abandonment paired with gaslighting. When asked, Hijab offered silence and countered with threats. This is why we speak. This is why behind veils exist. We don't expose to shame. We expose to protect, to hold power accountable, to say no more to hacked versions of Islam paraded as being legitimate. We are a collective and no one is above this deen. Not Yasser Birjas, not Omar Suleiman, and no, not even Mohammed Hijab. So if you're watching this and you're uncomfortable, ask yourself, why? And if you're one of those who thinks this is just fitna, ask yourself, what happens when the next victim, possibly your own sister or your own daughter, walks into a trap like this and there's no one left to speak? This is not just her story. This is all of ours. My final message to Sister Aisha: you are not alone. Your voice may have been silenced, dismissed, or buried, but today you are heard. Today, our ummah stands with you.
That's beautiful. Jesus Christ. Fuck, I fucked this up. They shouldn't be providers.
Auckland, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, man.
What is this about? Do I care that much?
I can't believe you nearly made us change this tabletop to something cleaner.
We do have something that's more professional.
This is beautiful.
I mean, you know, welcome to our space.
Yeah, thanks for hosting me here. I usually open the show by saying something like, thanks for being here, or welcome to the show. And I've done that on a few occasions in other people's sets and other people's houses, and they kind of look at me a little bit blankly. So I'm sure you know what I mean, but thanks for having me. You got a lot of character on this table. This is like a who's who of
early YouTube.
Decades ago.
Yeah.
You were pointing out, like, the Fine Bros here, and I saw, like, I Just Seen over there. It's like a real old school thing. Why did it stop? What happened?
We kind of ran out of people to talk to. Honestly, the guest-based... We started our podcast as a guest-based show. We thought that we would be like the Mark Maron for internet personalities.
Sure. I'm interested in what your view of hell was at the time when you said that most people are probably going to hell. What did you think hell was at the time when you were around 20?
I had talked myself into, mostly as a result of that struggle I was having, that it was probably some sort of... I basically became, without really reading too much about it, an annihilationist.
Yeah.
And so just the idea that people who don't know God, who are not his children, will probably go through some sort of torment, but it won't be forever, and then they will cease to exist.
Yeah, and that hell is, I mean, annihilationism is the view that people will be annihilated if they don't go to heaven. They sort of cease to exist, maybe after a period of suffering of some sort. I've always been quite attracted to that idea because of the, like, classical Thomistic arguments for the existence of God, which have God as like the ground of being.
Mm-hmm.
If God is the foundation of being itself, and everything that is participates in him, then if hell is something like separation from God, and if God is the ground of all being, then what does it mean to not be with God? It means to not be. It means to not exist.
Yeah, right.
So I've always thought philosophically there's good grounding for considering separation with God to be the same thing as not existing. Because to exist is to participate in God's existence, as some of the classical philosophers would put it.
Yeah.
But that's not as motivational as the fire and brimstone imagery. And presumably in your outreach you wouldn't push too heavy on the hell stuff, especially considering that you thought most people were going there anyway and there's nothing.
Yeah, right. And I think that it's interesting to see. I'm still a fan of Christian apologetics. It's fascinating to me to see the way that, and especially now, there wasn't nearly as much just apologetics media as there is now when I was deconstructing, because this mostly happened to me in the late aughts and 2010, 2011. And nobody was making, there were people writing books, but nobody was making internet content about this stuff. But I kind of dip in and dip out, and to see the way the conversation around hell is evolving is fascinating, because it is a really, it's like if you've got if you're selling a product, it's like the one thing where we get all the bad reviews about this. It's like, oh shit, people keep talking about this one thing, and it's the hell thing. So how do we rebrand hell? And the way that hell is being rebranded is smart. You know, a lot of people are moving into this. You know,
was there a hell rebrand?
But also, there are people
something?
who just frame it as separation from God. It's just simply like you rejected God's love. Like that's not hateful for him to say, well, now you just are going to be on your own and whatever that is to deal with your own stuff. And it sounds a lot nicer. It just sounds like you're just rejecting something. And I think that's become a pretty big talking point.
Yeah. What? I mean, maybe this was one of them. But when do the dominoes start to fall over for you? How old are you, and what starts to happen? Because right now you're speaking past tense. So at some point you go from not just Christian, but really involved professional Christian, as you put it, to now where you are. Where does this start?
So in my early 20s, the first couple of years out of school, I'm an engineer, civil engineer. I'm still very involved in Campus Crusade at the time. I'm not having that many, existential questions about it. If anything, I'm thinking about how I'm moving towards being a professional Christian, because my wife was still in college at the time. And so Link and I had kind of, we've been best friends since first grade, 1984. So we kind of knew what we were working towards. And the idea that we were going to develop this ministry where we got to be funny and make our comedy videos, and we were really trying to find a way to do the thing that we loved for the cause that we loved.
So it sort of started as, with God in the periphery here, of like all the video stuff, and it's all sort of directed towards, at least subtly to some degree, evangelism?
Yeah, definitely. And I think it was a way to have my cake and eat it too, because I really wanted, like we are entertainers at heart. We wanted to be filmmakers. We wanted to make things that, had significance culturally. We wanted to do that from the very beginning. So we always had our minds of like, on this idea that maybe we'll kind of, we can use this ministry, or we can have a ministry where we're doing these things that we love, and then maybe something that we make will be impactful enough so that we could one day, maybe we'll move to Hollywood and maybe we'll have a ministry there just through the things that we create. That was sort of the thought in the early days. So shortly after the engineering stint, going staff with Campus Crusade, at that point, you're going to the staff training.
Hey, Destiny, your analysis about people see their own views in Trump, like that he is a vessel for people and their own views. Isn't that the case with most political figures? Why do you act like this is some profound idea? I don't think it's the case with most political figures, because most political figures can't afford the same vagueness that Trump has with every single idea that he has. Trump can afford to never take a strong position on anything, or literally recommit to any position at any point in time ever, and his fan base never holds him accountable. I remember that one of the disqualifying things for Kerry, like, it's funny to imagine U.S. history like this, but like the go-to insult for him was to call him a flip-flopper because he had changed. It was like one big position that he changed. Was that Kerry or was that Gore? The flip-flopper thing, like changing your view ever was like political suicide back in the day. But now with Trump, you can say or do or believe whatever, and it'll change the next day, and who cares? And his fans will defend it. So it is different with Trump. I don't know why, it just is.
And you're taking the seminary classes and your initial, and I was always I was not like a super deep student of theology, but I would say moderately deep. And there were certain ideas that I would gravitate towards and things that I like to think about and talk about. At that same time, I was given a book, and I never really thought about the intersection of science and faith. I think the way that I would have described it is, I think that most scientists are not Christians. Most scientists are atheists, and they've come up with some pretty wacky ideas to try to explain the world and why people are the way that they are, why the world is the way that it is. And they're mostly just desperate attempts to explain the world without God's involvement. So that whole thing about evolution and how long the world has been here, that's probably all BS. But I didn't think about it any more deeply than that. I wasn't like a staunch young earth creationist. I didn't think about that issue in particular. But I picked up a book from an astronomer, Hugh Ross. And I'm sure, I've mentioned this before, and he has a Christian ministry that is like very anti-evolution, but very pro-old universe from the standpoint of astronomy, which, obviously when you look at all the astronomical evidence and the speed of light and the size of the universe and all this stuff, okay, the universe has been around for probably as long as the scientists are saying. But then he went on to essentially say that, but all truth is God's truth, and this is totally compatible with the Bible. But just so you know, evolution didn't happen. He was a proponent of something called progressive creationism, which essentially was, yes, the world has been around for as long as the scientists say. Right. And these fossils we find are legitimate fossils that are approximately the date that they're saying they are. But God was creating new batches of creatures, special creations at different stages throughout the history of the world.
Whoa.
And then ultimately resulting in the creation of people.
So,
whoa.
Why?
Great question. Great question. So,
okay, I don't think I care about this guy, do I? I don't care about this guy. Sitch and Adam. 1.4K viewers. Damn, that centrist grift is going hard. Hijab and 4K. Uh-oh, what happened? Oh, the whole Muslim community is going in.
Now let's...
One day ago, I met Hijab's secret wife. Oh, shit.
At that time, I looked...
Breaking my silence. Hold on, let me use the restroom 1 second. Wait, we'll do this guy first. 51 minutes, wait. Is there anything new? No, fuck this one, too long. No one.
Specifically... Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. As you can see here on the screen, these are some thumbnails of videos that have recently been coming out. There are literally dozens of videos coming out about this topic. There are thousands of comments, hundreds of thousands of views. So that being the case that this is such a public discussion at the moment, I wanted to make a video in order to share some teachings of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I ask that Allah make this video beneficial. Now, I want to make it very clear from the outset, this particular video is not going to be about any individuals personally. Now, I am a convert to Islam, and I did not become Muslim because I wanted to make friends and have to defend people, nor did I become Muslim because I want to make enemies and I feel like I have to attack people. I became Muslim because I believe that the Quran is the book of Allah and that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Allah's messenger. So that's what I am concerned with, and that's what I recommend all of us be concerned with when we talk about Islam. Now, one aspect of online da'wah has become career Islamophobes, as I like to refer to them, who have dedicated their lives to trying to smear Islam, make Islam look bad. Whenever there is any sort of situation where they can try to use popular Muslim figures to look bad, they will jump on that. And there are Muslims who do the same thing to them, the same thing to Christians and other religions. And sometimes due to this atmosphere, Muslims might feel like we have to defend Muslims in every situation. We can never refute another Muslim. But again, Islam is not about personalities other than the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and what Allah revealed to him. So that's what we all need to focus on, and we all need to detach from personalities. Now, everything that I say today, it's going to be very straightforward, simple, and easy to understand because overall, generally speaking, that's what Islam is. And the more we understand the general principles of Islam and work on implementing them in our lives, the better our lives are going to be. And the clearer truth is going to become distinct from falsehood. Now, I want to give an example because using examples is a beneficial teaching method that the Prophet ﷺ used and that Allah uses in the Quran. This, clearly, is a cookie. Now, it's very easy to understand that cookies are not healthy. This is not healthy. That's easy to understand. Now, the hard part is refraining from eating it. Why? Because it tastes good. We desire to eat things like this, even though they're not good for us. And the reason I use that as an example is because the teachings I'm going to be mentioning today are very easy to understand, but implementing them can be difficult. That can be the challenge. But that is foundationally part of the test of this life. The Prophet ﷺ said, paradise, Jannah, is surrounded by hardships. It is surrounded by things that we may dislike, while the hellfire is surrounded by...
Wait. What did you use for a cookie?
Oh, the heart's good. We desire to eat things like this, even though they're not good for us. And the reason I use that as an example is because...
Oh, wait, the other video was his friend defending him. Oh, shit. Okay, wait, hold on. Maybe...
Because the teachings I'm going to be mentioning today are very easy to understand, but implementing them can be difficult.
Why are you turning the copper liquid into plates at the bottom of your bus? Why not make the copper plates where they are needed? Because then I would have to have way more of these high-quality foundries, and ain't nobody got time for that. Bitch!
That can be the challenge. But that is foundationally part of the test of this life. The Prophet ﷺ said, paradise, Jannah, is surrounded by hardships. It is surrounded by things that we may dislike, while the hellfire is surrounded by temptations, by things that we desire. So a major foundational aspect of the life of this world is overcoming our desires for the greater good. Now, here's an example about how Islam has very clear, simple, easy to understand teachings, but we can struggle when it comes to implementing them. The Prophet ﷺ was asked for advice, to which he said, do not get angry. The man repeated himself asking for advice, and the Prophet ﷺ repeated, do not get angry. This is something that is easy to understand. Don't get angry. But is it easy to not get angry? Well, the Prophet ﷺ also said the strong man is not the one who can wrestle well and overcome people physically with his strength, but rather the strong man is the one who can control himself when he is angry, when he is in a fit of rage. So while it's easy to understand, don't get angry, it can be something difficult to implement in our lives. Another hadith I'd like to mention has to do with what is lawful, what is halal, and what is unlawful, what is haram. The Prophet ﷺ said, that which is halal, that which is lawful is clear, and that which is haram, that which is unlawful is also clear. But between the two of them are doubtful matters about which many people don't know. So think about that. The halal, clear. The haram, also clear. However, in between the two, there are doubtful matters that most people don't know about, that require experts, people of knowledge, to really analyze and understand.
True.
Thus, he who avoids doubtful matters clears himself in regard to his religion and his honor, but he who falls into doubtful matters eventually falls into that which is unlawful. Now, the reason I'm mentioning these things is because I want to set a general foundation to build upon. So keeping these hadith in mind, now let's specifically talk about marriage. When it comes to relations between a man and a woman, clearly there is a type of relationship that is halal. Clearly halal, and this is marriage. For example, a Muslim woman with her wali, with her guardian, with her father, coming to an agreement with a Muslim man. They clearly, out in the open, they have an Islamic marriage. The halal is clear. Now, the haram is also clear. If a man and a woman are going to commit zina, they're going to have relations when they're not married, this is clearly haram. All right, well, let's think about kind of in between, where somebody doesn't want to have a public marriage, where out in the open, they're taking care of the wife, they're sitting down, they're meeting the wali, they're meeting her father, they're getting to know each other, they're having that sort of traditional Islamic marriage. Nothing ambiguous about it, nothing questionable about it. Let's say that they don't want to do that, but they don't want to commit zina. Is there something that can be done that's sort of in between? Well, from the very outset, just keeping this hadith in mind, you should understand this is dangerous territory. Now, firstly, when it comes to being secretive about certain things, the Prophet ﷺ, he said that righteousness is good character, and wrongdoing, sin, is that which wavers in your heart and you dislike that people should come to know about it. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Another hadith comes to mind where the Prophet ﷺ said, one of the sayings of the early prophets, which the people of God, is if you don't feel ashamed, if you feel no shame, then do as you wish. If you are feeling shameful about something, then perhaps that is an indication that it's sinful, as the previously mentioned hadith indicated. Now, clearly, there are certain types of marriage where somebody's not going to feel ashamed at all about it. For example, let's say that there's a Muslim man, he wants to marry a particular Muslim sister. So he approaches the wali, he sits down, he gets to know them. There's nothing secretive about it. There's nothing to feel ashamed of. There's nothing to hide. And that brings me to the next topic of discussion, which is from the most important aspects of marriage, and that is the wali. The Prophet ﷺ, he said, there is no marriage except with a wali. La nikah illa biwali. This is one of the most important aspects of a woman getting married. Now, what is a wali? By default, it is going to be the woman's father. One of the absolute biggest indications that something is off when it comes to a marriage is when the woman does not have a proper wali. I cannot stress enough how important it is for a woman to have a proper wali when it comes to her getting married. One of the main ways for a woman to prevent getting taken advantage of in a marriage is by doing things properly with her wali. Now, although this hadith is clear enough to emphasize the importance of a wali, I want to mention two additional reasons. Number one, a woman's father, for example, is a man. So as a man,
he can safeguard against the other evil men.
He is going to understand the mindset of another man in ways that a woman never can. So a woman might think, oh, this guy, he's going to be great. He's going to be the best husband in the world, based on how she is interpreting
the looks at him and the dad goes, Chad Thundercock over here, he ain't it, sister. Daughter, sorry.
Things that he's saying in his behavior. Whereas another man is going to be able to see things differently because he's a man. He knows how men think when it comes to women. That is one thing that a woman will never be able to do. However, there is a second aspect that is very important, and that is a proper wali, like, for example, a righteous father. He is going to have...
He's going to make the guy... What do you think he's going to say? He knows the contract the guy needs to sign to take care of the woman, maybe?
Have ghaira for his daughter. He is going to have protective jealousy for her. He has a unique type of care and affection and love for his daughter. So he wants to make sure, to the best of his ability, that she is marrying the right man. However, when this process is not properly implemented, this can lead to so many problems where women are taken advantage of. And the purpose of this video is not to get into the specifics of things. Again, we're talking about the clear halal, the clear haram, and we're keeping things simple. If a woman does not have a proper wali like her father, if that person that she's going to act as her wali doesn't know her, doesn't care about her, basically has this sort of attitude of like, come on, let's hurry it up. Yeah, let's do this marriage. Oh, what's the dowry? Oh, you're going to take her to get some fast food? Okay, sure. Then clearly this person is not acting as a proper wali. No father in his right mind would ever behave like that. The reason I'm mentioning all of this is because it's important for us to understand what Islam teaches, both for us as Muslims when it comes to implementing it, but also all the non-Muslims who are sitting back watching this stuff. What I'm explaining to you is what Islam teaches, and I'm showing you the proofs. If there is a man that wants to marry someone's daughter, and he goes to the father, to the wali, and he sits with him, gets to know him, there are two main things that a good wali that cares about his daughter is going to be looking for. Number one is he's going to be looking at the man's character. Does this man have good character, the way that he behaves? Does he seem like a righteous human being? Someone who is going to be good to my daughter? Because this is something that Islam prioritizes. The Prophet Mohammed said the most complete of believers in faith are those with the best character. And the best of you are those who are best to your women. This is what Islam teaches. A wali is going to want to know, do you have good character? Do you seem like a good person? But also they're going to want to know, are you going to take care of my daughter? Clearly, there are things you want from a wife. Well, as the father of this woman you want to marry, there are certain things she wants from you and certain things that I want for her from you. I want you to take care of her. And this is also from the religion of Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said, all of you are shepherds and each of you is responsible for your flocks. The man is specifically a shepherd regarding his family, regarding those of his household. This, brothers and sisters, is what Islam teaches. The halal is clear. These teachings are clear. The haram is clear. Come on. It is these situations in between that people play with that can cause them to fall into haram and cause all sorts of problems. So when it comes to these discussions of marriage, this is what Islam teaches regarding a man, a woman, her wali, her guardian, what is expected of a Muslim man, who are the best of the believers, what their responsibilities entail. And I emphasize this to try to prevent anyone from misunderstanding what Islam really is and what it really teaches. And for those of us who are Muslims, this is the behavior that we should strive for. And this is clearly based on what? On clear ahadith.
Wait. This doesn't even cover the drama. This is just a fucking Islam teaching. I just got baited.
Authentic teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So there's a lot more that could be said, but inshallah this will suffice, at least for this video.
What's the thing? Every time they say his name, is he just saying peace be upon him in Arabic or whatever? I'm sorry, I shouldn't make fun of it. My bad.
Allah knows best. May Allah guide all of us.
Charlie Hebdo. My bad.
May Allah forgive us. May Allah protect our daughters, our sons. May Allah put barakah in.
Wait, do you have to say peace be upon him for Muhammad to put respect on his name, but you don't have to put respect on Allah's name? Isn't that kind of weird?
Marriages. May Allah guide us to be true representatives of His religion. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jesus Christ.
And now let's
No.